I never meant to cause a galaxy-wide panic. Really, I didn't. All I did was casually mention that a redback spider could kill a human, and suddenly, the Galactic Council erupted into a spectacle of alien chaos. But let me back up a bit. My name is Jamie Carson, Earth's junior ambassador to the Galactic Council. I know what you're thinking. What kind of qualifications does one need for this job? Honestly, I think they hired me because I'm young enough to adapt to alien protocols, but not so young that I'd live-stream classified meetings. As Earth's representative, I was mainly there to observe. After all, humanity wasn't exactly known for our bioweapons, or so they thought. The Valrexians, a particularly smug species with segmented exoskeletons and glowing purple eyes, were presenting their latest masterpiece, a genetically engineered fungus that could incapacitate an entire ecosystem in under an hour. Their lead ambassador, a towering creature named Draxa, spoke in a slow, deliberate voice that somehow made their arrogance even more unbearable. And so, Draxa concluded, their mandibles clicking for dramatic effect, the Valrexian toxin proves once again why we are unmatched in biochemical superiority. The room erupted in alien applause. I resisted the urge to roll my eyes. Sure, it was impressive, but I'd spent the last 3 hours listening to similar presentations, and frankly, my coffee had worn off. The council elder, a crystalline being named Zynar, addressed the chamber. Are there any questions before we proceed to classification? This was where I should have kept my mouth shut. I really should have. But something about Draxa's smugness pushed me over the edge. Maybe it was the way they kept referring to humans as the galaxy's most amusing primitives. Or maybe it was just the boredom. Either way, my hand shot up before I could stop myself. Yes, Ambassador Carson, Zynar asked, their crystalline form shimmering with curiosity. Humans rarely spoke during these sessions. I cleared my throat, suddenly aware of every alien eye, or equivalent sensory organ, on me. I just have a quick question about the classification criteria, I began, trying to sound diplomatic. You mentioned that natural evolutionary defenses are weighted more heavily than engineered ones, correct? That is correct, Zynar replied, their tone polite but vaguely condescending. Great, because I was wondering... I paused for effect, which, in retrospect, was probably a mistake. Why are we so impressed by a toxin that works in an hour when Earth has naturally evolved creatures that can kill in minutes? The chamber went dead silent. You could have heard a photon drop. Draxa turned to face me, their mandibles twitching. Surely you jest, they said, their voice dripping with condescension. Your planet is renowned for its biological mediocrity. Oh, I'm not talking about large predators or anything like that, I said, now fully committing to my terrible idea. I'm talking about a spider. The silence exploded into alien laughter. It was a cacophony of chirps, hums, and subsonic rumbles that made my teeth vibrate. Even Zynar's crystalline form shimmered in what I recognized as their species' version of amusement. A spider, Draxa repeated, their voice now a mocking hiss. You claim a tiny arachnid surpasses the finest biochemical weapons in the galaxy. Yes, I said, pulling up Earth's biological database on my tablet. Specifically the redback spider. Its venom can kill a human in under an hour, and that's just if it bites once. Multiple bites can incapacitate or kill even faster. The laughter stopped as abruptly as it had started. Draxa's purple eyes glowed brighter, a sign of what I assumed was disbelief, or maybe irritation. This must be verified, they declared. Zynar vibrated, their tone now serious. The Valrexian delegation requests a formal investigation into Earth's biological capabilities. Ambassador Carson, are you prepared to defend your claim? I wanted to say no. I really did. But instead, I nodded. Absolutely. That's how I accidentally started what would later be known as the Redback incident. Looking back, I probably should have mentioned the platypus first. The next morning, I found myself pacing outside the Interspecies Research Institute on Earth's lunar outpost. If I was going to prove Earth's biological supremacy to the Galactic Council, I needed help. and there was only one person who could provide it. Dr. Asha Menon. Dr. Menon was Earth's foremost expert on venomous creatures and arguably the most terrifying scientist I'd ever met. Her lab was a shrine to everything deadly, from blue-ringed octopuses to dart frogs. She was also infamous among the alien research community for being just a little too enthusiastic about Earth's capacity to kill. When I stepped into her lab, I was greeted by the sight of Asha examining what appeared to be a very angry centipede in a containment tube. She looked up and grinned. "Jamie, come to admire my little murder machines." "Actually, I need your help," I said, glancing nervously at the centipede, which was now aggressively tapping the glass. "I may have accidentally implied to the Galactic Council that a redback spider could outclass their bioweapons." Her grin widened. "You didn't." "I did." "And now they want proof?" "Yeah." Asha's eyes sparkled with what I can only describe as dangerous glee. "Oh, this is going to be fun." "Fun isn't the word I'd use," I muttered, but she was already pulling up files on her tablet. "You're in luck," she said. "I've been dying to showcase the Redback's venom delivery system. It's a work of evolutionary art. Did you know it doesn't just kill? It also paralyzes prey, liquefies their insides, and turns them into a nice little snack. I'm not sure the snack part is relevant to our diplomatic goals." "Oh, Jamie," she said, patting my shoulder. "It's always relevant." 2 days later, the Galactic Council sent a delegate to observe the demonstration. Commander Kyle, a sleek, bird-like alien with iridescent feathers, arrived at Asha's lab looking thoroughly unimpressed. "This is your expert?" Kyle asked, their beak clicking as they glanced at Asha, who was cheerfully preparing a redback spider enclosure. "She appears enthusiastic." "You have no idea," I muttered. Asha didn't miss a beat. "Welcome, Commander. I hope you're ready to learn about one of Earth's finest predators." Kyle tilted their head. "Predator? It is a spider." "Exactly," Asha said with a grin. "And this little beauty can take down creatures far larger than itself. Shall we begin?" The demonstration was held in a secure chamber that looked like something out of a science fiction movie. The walls were reinforced with energy fields, and the observation room was lined with holographic displays. In the center of the chamber, a redback spider perched in its enclosure, oblivious to the intergalactic chaos it was about to cause. Asha tapped a button on her console, releasing a small robotic prey drone into the enclosure. The spider twitched, then sprang into action, sinking its fangs into the drone's synthetic skin. The holographic displays lit up with data as venom coursed through the drone's systems. "Notice how quickly the venom takes effect," Asha narrated. "In a real-world scenario, a bite like this would paralyze its prey within seconds." Kale's feathers puffed up, a reaction I was beginning to recognize as alarm. "And this creature is common on your planet?" "Not just common," Asha replied. "They're practically household pests. People find them in their sheds all the time." Kale's feathers flattened. "Your species lives alongside such creatures willingly?" "We call it coexisting," I said helpfully. "It builds character." The demonstration continued with Asha showcasing data on the redback's venom composition, its ability to incapacitate prey, and its rapid recovery after a kill. By the end, Kale's feathers had turned a dull gray, an alien equivalent of shock, I assumed. "This is concerning," Kale said, their voice strained. "If this is only one of your planet's creatures, what else have you been hiding?" "Oh, plenty," Asha said brightly. "Would you like to see the box jellyfish next? Its venom can kill in minutes and causes excruciating pain before death." "I believe I have seen enough," Kyle said quickly, their feathers now bristling. "This information will be presented to the Council immediately." "Glad we could help," Asha called as Kyle hurried out of the lab, muttering something about humans and deathworlds. After Kale left, I turned to Asha. "That went well, right?" She gave me a mischievous grin. "Oh, Jamie, this is just the beginning. You've opened Pandora's box, and inside are spiders, jellyfish, and a whole lot of other things that will keep the Galactic Council up at night." Somehow, I didn't find that comforting. The next morning, I was summoned to an emergency session of the Galactic Council. The chamber buzzed with alien chatter as I entered. Representatives from dozens of species were present, their forms ranging from shimmering crystalline beings to gelatinous blobs pulsating in time with their speech. All of them were focused on the holographic replay of the Redback spider demonstration, which looped on the main display. Ambassador Carson, Zynar, the council elder, called, their crystalline body vibrating with agitation. Would you care to explain why your planet harbors creatures capable of such disproportionate lethality? I cleared my throat. It's not that we harbor them. They just exist. Evolution, you know. The room erupted into a cacophony of alien exclamations. The Valrexian ambassador, Draxor, stood, their segmented exoskeleton twitching. You expect us to believe that such creatures evolved naturally. This reeks of biological engineering. I assure you, I said, holding up my hands, Earth's wildlife is all natural. Trust me, humans are just as baffled by some of it as you are. That does not inspire confidence, Zynar said, their crystalline edges dimming in dismay. Despite the Council's skepticism, they demanded further proof of Earth's biological capabilities. So, naturally, I brought back Dr. Asha Menon. This is going to be fun, she said, as we prepared her presentation in the Council's grand chamber. I've prepared a greatest hits list of Earth's deadliest creatures. They're going to love it. Love isn't the word I'd use, I muttered. The presentation began with Asha enthusiastically displaying holographic images of Earth's most dangerous wildlife. First up was the Redback spider. Now, you've already seen what our little friend here can do, she said, gesturing to a 3D hologram of the spider. But did you know it can also survive for months without food? Truly a marvel of efficiency. The room was silent, save for the faint whirring of alien translators. Next, we have the box jellyfish, Asha continued, pulling up an image of the translucent sea creature. Its venom acts in minutes and causes unbearable pain. One sting is usually enough to kill a human, or several, depending on the size of the jellyfish. The hologram shifted to show a detailed diagram of the jellyfish's venom delivery system. Several aliens in the audience shifted uncomfortably. One gelatinous representative turned an unsettling shade of green. And here's a personal favorite, Asha said with a grin. The inland taipan, also known as the fierce snake. Its venom can kill up to 100 adult humans in a single bite. That is excessive, Zynar muttered. Oh, it gets better, Asha said cheerfully. We haven't even gotten to the platypus yet. The hologram changed to display the platypus, its duckbill and webbed feet, eliciting confused murmurs from the council. This creature, Asha began, is one of the few venomous mammals on Earth. Its venom isn't lethal to humans, but the pain it causes is so severe that our nerves essentially give up trying to process it. That abomination lives on your planet? Draxor asked, their mandibles twitching. In rivers, mostly, Asha said, as though it were the most natural thing in the world. People sometimes run into them while swimming. It's no big deal. By now, several alien representatives had visibly recoiled from their seats. The crystalline Zynar was dimmer than ever, while Draxor's exoskeleton emitted faint, involuntary clicks. As the presentation went on, the council chamber devolved into barely controlled chaos. Asha moved on to creatures like the cone snail, the blue-ringed octopus, and even the golden poison dart frog. Each revelation met with increasing levels of disbelief and horror. One representative, a glowing orb-like being, pulsated so rapidly during the description of the cone snail that they had to be escorted out of the chamber. Another, an insectoid diplomat, muttered something their translator rendered as, "How do these humans survive their own planet?" Asha, meanwhile, was having the time of her life. "Oh, and did I mention the bird-eating spider? It's not venomous, but it's the size of a dinner plate, so that's fun." "Fun," Draxor hissed. "This is madness." By the end of the presentation, the council was in shambles. Zynar called for order, their crystalline body vibrating at an almost imperceptible frequency. The Council will recess to discuss these revelations, they announced. Ambassador Carson, Dr. Menon, we thank you for your enlightening presentation. As the chamber emptied, Asha turned to me, practically glowing with excitement. Did you see their faces? This is the best day of my career. You might have just given half the galaxy a collective heart attack, I replied. Oh, come on, Jamie, she said with a grin. You have to admit, it's kind of fun watching them squirm. I sighed. Let's hope the Council sees it that way. 3 days later, the Galactic Council chamber was noticeably different. For one, several alien representatives had installed reinforced shielding around their seats. Others had chosen to sit farther away from Earth's delegation entirely. Even Zynar, the normally composed crystalline elder, vibrated at a frequency that suggested barely contained stress. After extensive deliberation, Zynar began, their voice strained. The Council has determined that Earth's biological defense capabilities warrant further classification. Classification? I asked, glancing nervously at Asha, who was grinning like someone who'd just found out their favorite roller coaster had no safety restraints. Yes, Zynar continued. In light of recent demonstrations, Earth's fauna must be categorized as unusually hazardous. Unusually hazardous, I echoed. That's the understatement of the millennium. The Valrexian ambassador Draxor stood, their segmented exoskeleton twitching in agitation. This is unacceptable. No planet should naturally produce creatures capable of outclassing our most advanced bioweapons. It defies logic. Maybe your bioweapons just aren't that advanced, Asha muttered under her breath. Draxor's mandibles clicked furiously. We demand that Earth be reclassified as a Class X evolutionary hazard. No species should be allowed to harbor such monstrosities without proper containment. The chamber erupted into a cacophony of alien voices. Some species supported Draxor's motion, while others argued that Earth's creatures were an example of evolutionary efficiency. One gelatinous diplomat simply pulsated in what I assumed was quiet despair. Asha leaned over and whispered, Class 10. Has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Not helping, I muttered. Commander Kyle, the bird-like alien who had observed the Redback demonstration, stood to speak. Their iridescent feathers were notably duller than before, and their voice trembled as they addressed the chamber. I have witnessed Earth's capabilities firsthand, Kyle said, and I must emphasize that these creatures are not confined to remote regions of their planet. They live among humans, in their homes. Gasps echoed through the chamber. This is true, Zynar asked, their crystalline edges dimming. Well, yeah, I said. I mean, they're not pets or anything, but people run into them all the time. You learn to check your shoes. Your shoes, Kyle repeated, their feathers puffing up in horror. Sensing an opportunity, Asha stepped forward. If I may, she began, her tone far too cheerful for the occasion. I'd like to point out that the Redback is just the tip of the iceberg. Earth's wildlife has far more dangerous creatures. More dangerous? Zynar asked weakly. Oh, absolutely, Asha said, pulling up a holographic image of a blue-ringed octopus. Take this little guy, for example. Its venom causes paralysis and respiratory failure within minutes. No antidote. They're adorable, though. The chamber descended into chaos once again. Several alien representatives began furiously typing notes or consulting with their advisors. One even fainted, although, to be fair, it was the gelatinous one, and I wasn't sure they had a proper nervous system to begin with. After several hours of heated debate, Zynar called for order. The Council has reached a decision. In recognition of Earth's unique evolutionary ecosystem and its potential implications for galactic security, we hereby designate Earth as a Class A biochemical powerhouse. Asha nudged me with her elbow. Told you we'd win. That's not all, Zynar continued. Effective immediately, Earth will be granted access to advanced defensive technology to ensure containment of its indigenous life forms. Containment? I asked. You're acting like our planet is a ticking time bomb. Zynar's crystalline form vibrated ominously. Is it not? The session adjourned shortly after, but the repercussions were immediate. Several species announced new research initiatives focused on Earth's wildlife, while others proposed trade agreements specifically for Earth's venomous specimens. One particularly bold alien representative even suggested exporting cone snails to their homeworld, a proposal that was quickly shot down by their delegation. Meanwhile, Asha was practically bouncing with excitement. "Can you believe it?" she said, flipping through her tablet. "They want me to head a new interspecies research center for toxicology. This is the best day of my life." "You're enjoying this way too much," I said. "Oh, come on, Jamie," she replied. "You have to admit, it's fun being the galaxy's resident nightmare fuel." 3 days after Earth's promotion to Class A biochemical powerhouse, I returned to the Galactic Council chamber for another emergency session. This time, the mood was different. The normally bustling chamber was eerily quiet. Alien representatives sat stiffly in their seats, avoiding eye contact with Earth's delegation. Several species had moved their sections even farther from ours, and I noticed a few had installed reinforced containment barriers. Elder Zynar addressed the chamber with their usual crystalline composure, though their edges showed faint cracks, likely stress fractures from the past week's chaos. In light of recent developments, the Council proposes mandatory briefings on Earth's indigenous life forms for all diplomatic missions. We cannot afford further surprises. Asha, of course, jumped at the opportunity. "I'd be happy to lead those briefings," she said with a grin. "I've already prepared presentations on everything from the inland taipan to the Portuguese man-o'-war." Zynar's body dimmed slightly, a crystalline version of a sigh. "The standard briefing will suffice, Dr. Menon." The fallout from the Redback incident spread faster than I expected. Within days, Earth became the galaxy's hottest topic, with species scrambling to establish alliances, research agreements, and trade deals. The Valrexians, once dismissive of humanity, now approached us with cautious respect. "We wish to propose a research exchange," Draxa said, their mandibles clicking nervously. "Your cone snail venom could revolutionize our bioweapons program." Asha clapped her hands together. "Oh, I've been waiting for this. Let me get my files." "No venom exports," I interjected, glaring at her. "Let's not create an intergalactic arms race." The gelatinous ambassador from the Zarnix collective was next. "We are interested in Earth's surfing," they said, their translator hesitating over the word. "Why do humans willingly interact with such hostile ecosystems?" "For fun," I said. "It's kind of our thing." The ambassador quivered. "Your species is insane." "You're not wrong," I admitted. Just as things were beginning to settle, disaster struck again. It started with a Zarnix researcher studying Earth's domestic animals. They discovered cats. Commander Kyle burst into my office, their feathers puffed in what I now recognized as barely contained panic. "Ambassador Carson, why did you not inform us about the small predators you harbor in your homes?" I blinked. "You mean cats?" "Yes," Kyle squawked. "Perfect killing machines, retractable claws, unparalleled night vision, and a tendency to hunt for entertainment. Humans allow these creatures to live with them." "They're just pets," I said. "Harmless, really." Kyle's feathers flared. "Harmless. They kill for fun. They toy with their prey. And you cuddle them." Before I could respond, Asha walked in, holding her tablet. Perched on her shoulder was her orange tabby, Mr. Whiskers. Kale made a sound their translator didn't even attempt to process, and backed away. "What? Is that?" "This," Asha said, scratching Mr. Whiskers under the chin. "Oh, this is just my cat. Say hi, Whiskers." Whiskers yawned, showing off his teeth. Kyle immediately fled the room, muttering something about unpredictable predators. In the weeks that followed, Earth's reputation as the galaxy's most unpredictable planet solidified. The Council implemented new protocols for visiting Earth, including triple reinforced containment fields and a mandatory waiver acknowledging the planet's inherent dangers. Asha, meanwhile, was thriving in her new role as head of the Interspecies Toxicology Research Center. "Can you believe it?" she said one day, practically bouncing with excitement. They're funding my research on box jellyfish venom. I even got approval to study platypuses in space. Great, I muttered. Now we're exporting chaos. It's not chaos, she said with a grin. It's science. Looking back, I suppose I should have seen this coming. When you represent a planet where even the smallest creatures can kill you, the galaxy is bound to take notice. But the real kicker? Earth's reputation didn't just change interstellar politics, it also brought us closer together as a species. Somehow, in showcasing the terrifying wonders of our planet, we earned the galaxy's respect. And while I'll never understand how Asha manages to stay so cheerful while handling venomous creatures, I can't deny she's right about one thing. Sometimes, being a little bit dangerous is exactly what it takes to be taken seriously.